All right, hi everybody. We are back yet again for another Monday lesson. We're going to dive in very quickly today because today I'm going to go over a lot concerning worship sounds. All right, so let's get started. We're going to be in the key of C today. All right. And if you're wondering about sound, all I'm using today is just a regular piano layered with a pad. All right, you can use a piano, just plain piano, piano strings, flute, piano pad and bell, wherever you feel like layer works. There's a lot of stuff that works, but all I'm using today is just piano and pad. All right, so let me dive right in. The first thing I want to talk about is scales. All right, so if you're trying to become a better worship musician, you need to know scales, you need to know chords, you need to know the chords that go with scales. All right, so let's get started. So in the key of C, we're going to have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. All right? And the chords that go along with that using the number system, right? On the 1, C, major, D, 2, minor, 3, minor, 4, major, 5, major, 6, minor, 7, diminished, back to your 1, B major. All right. Now I want to talk about the 3 and the 7 briefly, just because in gospel music we sometimes, actually oftentimes, do this a little differently, right? So in the 3, as I said, it was minor. From a theoretical standpoint, yes. In gospel music, however, a lot of times what we'll do is raise that top note to make it the 1 chord, right? With the 3 in the bass. All right? So theoretical way, gospel. Theoretical, gospel. All right? Also with the 7 up here, same thing, raise that top note to make it the 5 chord with the 7 in the bass. All right, so theoretical, gospel, theoretical, gospel. All right. All right. So now that we got that under our belt, all right, the next thing I want to talk about are the 3 most common used chords in music. All right. So you have your 1, your 4, and your 5. All right. Most common used chords ever. That's gospel, that's pop, that's R&B, it's a lot. Classical. Most common chords used, all right? So the 1, the 4, the 5. Back to the 1. All right? Now, if you're just a beginner, you kind of want to get started with that, that's fine. You can do a lot with that. These things can still help make great worship sounds, a great worship kind of loop, right? But the thing is, if you're going to use just 3 chords, take your time, all right? Don't be in there. Don't do that. Take your time with it, right? It can sound really great if you just slow down and take your time. All right, that leads me to my last thing I want to talk about today, is just using everything I just talked about. Use scales, use chords, and use some pacing. Pace yourself, take your time, all right? Now, a lot of times we might see the pros and we might see some of these more advanced players do all this crazy stuff, right, that we want to do and it sounds great. We see all the... right? And you think, oh my God, that's excellent. Yes, but it doesn't always have to be like that, right? You can stay right here at home. I did a lot of stuff. I use a lot of scales. I use a lot of things that may or may not be in the key, right? Went outside the box a little bit. You can stay right here at home in C major and play some really great stuff if you pace yourself, if you use scales, and if you use chords, all right? So just using scales and chords, let me show you what you can possibly do. Right? Beautiful stuff. Take your time. All right? Start with that. I have a part 2 coming next week. All right? So hopefully you can apply these tips. Hopefully this blessed you. Hopefully this taught you something that you can start applying immediately. And hopefully you start to see some improvement and some enhancement in your personal playing. I will see you all next Monday.